I'm sure you're getting about if Joshua wins, is Wilder going to be next?
I think the answer is probably yes. Yeah, I think there'll be too much pressure for that fight, not just from the fans, but from Anthony Joshua. I mean, people don't know him like I know him, and like, you know, when we boxed Charles Martin, you can look back now and say that was an easy fight, but at the time, he'd had 15 fights, Joshua. He was a raw novice, and he said, I want that fight. I told him it was available, he said, I want that fight. The Klitschko fight come about, he said, I want that Klitschko fight. You know, now the Parker fight comes up, no, I want that fight. And the Wilder fight, he wants that fight. He sees Wilder as a very straightforward fight, so there's no fear. We know Wilder can punch, but I actually see the Parker fight as a tougher fight than the Wilder fight from a technical point of view. I know you're a big Deontay Wilder fan, but from a technical point of view, not from a punch power point of view. But there might be areas in the fight where Parker outboxes AJ and maybe outspeeds him and outworks him. He's supposed to have this incredible chin. He's supposed to be incredibly durable. If he is, it's going to go deep and it's going to be a tough fight. With Wilder, it could be either way. You know, if Joshua hurts Wilder like Ortiz did, mate, this is not going to be pretty to watch. But Wilder also has the equaliser, which we saw, and it's a dangerous fight. I just don't think technically it's a very difficult fight for Anthony Joshua.
He took heart from what he saw from Wilder, what he saw Ortiz do to Wilder.
No, he knew it before. He didn't watch the fight and say, you know, oh, I've seen weaknesses. Everybody sees the weaknesses, but it's the first time he's ever been hit on the chin by someone. And I don't even think Ortiz is a puncher, by the way, but he can crack. I mean, not like Joshua, but I just think that he saw. Everyone knows. You know, people have sparred him in the UK. He's been hurt multiple times in the gym. It's not like, but he showed. Like, people now say Wilder's got no chin. Not true. People said in the Klitschko fight, Joshua's got no chin. Not true. Watch the shots that he took, and look at the shots that Wilder took as well. Hurt. But the difference is you're not talking about an old man in Anthony Joshua. You're talking about someone that when you're hurt, he's going to pounce on you, and you're going to get hit by 20 shots you don't even see coming, and that's the difference. And it'll be over. But it's a brilliant fight. It's a fight that you might have to watch through your fingers, because Joshua is completely fearless, and I think he's more fearless than Wilder, but Wilder does have that element in him as well. So it's going to be incredible.
Is the TV situation going to complicate matters?
No, because Joshua isn't with a network at the moment after the Parker fight. Again, I read all this kind of stuff about he's moving to HBO, etc., etc. Completely untrue. We will talk to people, but as I've said before, Showtime backed Anthony Joshua 4 or 5 fights ago when others were thinking about it. They've committed to him for a long time. We're very happy where we are. And Deontay Wilder is with Showtime as well, so obviously that's a natural progression to take him from a broadcast route. We'll talk to other broadcasters, of course. We wouldn't be doing our job otherwise, and who knows what's going to happen. But you know, I want to make that clear, because it seems to be a lot of people saying, oh, he's jumping over the road. That hasn't been discussed. There's been no offers that we've reviewed from other broadcasters. So at the moment, we're very happy with Showtime, and that's where we'll look to continue.
What do you think? What did you think of the ratings that they did?
Really good. I was really pleased because you know, he's becoming a bigger star now, and that's what we want. Because at the moment, he's not like he is. Again, I talk about promoting. If I had Deontay Wilder, it's so easy. Like, it couldn't be easier. You've got an exciting heavyweight world champion who's American, who can talk, who loves to hype fights up, open his mouth all the time. Oh, it's a promoter's dream. But there's no one promoting him. He's having to do everything himself. So on Fight Week, he's everywhere. He's in all the radio shows, he's doing it, and he's doing a great job. I couldn't go to Anthony Joshua on Fight Week and say, right, I need you to get in this car for an hour and go over to this radio station.
But he enjoys doing it, but he also kind of has to do it.
He has to do it because he's a one-man band.
Well, why don't you sign him?
I might do. I'd love to sign Deontay Wilder. Probably the best thing he ever done. He hasn't got a promoter.
Manager.
Yeah. So no, but it's not the manager. The manager's job is to guide his career. So, and I don't think they do. But he's earning really small money in comparison to what I believe he should be earning as WBC. He's had 7 or 8 world title defences. You know, he's never had a unification fight. And people, all he says in interviews is, "I'm all about unifying the division. One division, one champion." You've had 8 heavyweight defences, you've never had one unification. Why? Because they can't afford it. They can't make a unification fight because the numbers don't work. They can't afford to pay Joseph Parker to come over. We can. They couldn't afford to pay Vladimir Klitschko to come over. We can. Why? Because we got the draw in Anthony Joshua.
Have you signed Joshua to an extension yet?
We've got a couple of fights left, and that's.
What about Wilder's manager?
What?
Pickle.
Oh, which one?
Pickle.
Shirley Winkle. Shirley. He's got 3 managers, Carl. He's got 3 managers. Jay Diaz, Al Heyman, and Shirley Winkle.
Oh yeah, Jay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
You can use that line.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think that it's quite a straightforward fight to make.
You have options left on
Joshua. We got a couple of fights with Joshua, and there'll be an extension announced soon. But he's in a great place. I mean, he's earning a fortune. His career's been absolutely, golden so far. He's the biggest draw in boxing, I believe. Obviously, you got Canelo, but I think that the Wilder fight is the one. It's the biggest fight in world boxing.
But you were talking about Big Baby Miller.
Yeah.
You're now going to try to do Wilder instead.
No, I'm saying that if we can't make the Wilder fight, then Anthony Joshua should box in America next.
Against Big Baby in August?
Quite possibly, yeah. If he can perform well against the Halpers.
Deontay will be in September.
I think the options is that we go in August in America against someone, and then Deontay Wilder, or straight into Wilder. But if we do Wilder, it'll probably be October, November, December.
Could you do a throwback to the old days and do a doubleheader with them sharing cards to promote some interest? Wants to be done quite a bit.
I don't think so, because Joshua doesn't need him on the card to hit his revenue numbers, and Wilder's, although not expensive, he's probably making a couple $1 million a fight. So we could do them on the same night. If we went in UK, but I just think just be fun to bring Joshua to the UK, and it'd be great for the Wilder fight as well. The fight's inevitable.
Eddie, what do you make of Wilder saying that his winnable is bigger than Joshua?
A load of bollocks. Excuse my language. But it was a good win. It was the first credible win as a world champion, because all the other fights that he's had. Listen, Joshua's boxed Molina, but he did, nearly decapitate him in 3 rounds. Wilder went 9 rounds, he got hurt in the fight. The Halpers, they went 11 rounds. Look at the state of Wilder after the Halpers fight. He was rocked in that fight. Stavern twice, Spilker, who's been proved he's not even anywhere near that level. So that was, in terms of as tough as the Klitschko fight, no, not at all. But it was a very strong win.
What did Joshua say about the fight?
Nothing. He enjoyed it. He thought it was a great fight. He wants to make that fight as big as possible, and the performance helped grow that fight, and it added value to Deontay Wilder in the negotiations.
Do you see Wilder Joshua as more of a Vegas fighter in UK fights, or maybe in New York fights?
Maybe both. I've seen a lot of comments that there's more money for the fight in America. Might be right. It's marginal. But Joshua doesn't. I mean, Joshua's happy to do the fight in the US, and I believe Wilder's happy to do the fight in the UK. I do believe that. I don't believe he's lying, and I don't believe either of them. Both of them want the fight. There's no question. I mean, if you're Deontay Wilder, how can you not want the fight? You're going to earn 5, 6, 7 times more money than you've ever earned in one fight.
How many pay-per-view buys do you envision, perhaps?
Well, it's a good question. I think that the line on the range is between 500 and $1 million. 500 is probably the low end, and $1 million's the high end. But you'd be surprised when these two get together and people start talking, and you see the press tour. I mean, it's a brilliant fight. It's a brilliant build-up. And I think it's the biggest fight in boxing.
Is that the biggest fight? I mean, I know you've promoted a lot of big fights, and maybe fights that lead into business, but that'd be the biggest fight of your career?
Yeah, because it's the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. So,
Does it excite you?
Yeah, of course. It excites me because I know what's going to happen. And I'm excited to watch Anthony Joshua be crowned under. That's always been, it's very unusual to have a fighter from his debut and take him, like normally in boxing you'd sort of, someone would leave someone, or you pick him up after the 10th fight, or when they're world champion. But we had him from the debut, and the goal has always been to become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world and make a load of money on the way. But he's already done that, so now the focus is just supremacy in world heavyweight boxing, and that comes with all the belts.
I know he's already a big star in England, but do you think he could become a star in America too?
Yeah, easily. But he's got to be willing to put the time in, and that's not something that he's necessarily bothered about. Do you know what I mean? Like all he wants to do is improve as a fighter and a person. So him becoming more popular in America, it's not like he sits there at home and says, I really want to become more popular in America. But I would say to him, listen, we should go out, do a couple of weeks, see the press, do some talk shows. But it's just about time. People say, oh, he's got to crack America. Why? Look how much money he's making in the UK versus how much money people are making in America. No, but there's always been that element of, if you want to crack it in boxing, you should crack the American market. And I agree with that in a way, but it doesn't mean there's more money here. And there's not more money for him here, obviously if he was bigger, but there's not many pay-per-view fights out there for him, other than Deontay Wilder. And to be a pay-per-view fighter...
We're still talking about fucking heavyweights here?
To be a pay-per-view fighter, you've got to be built from the get-go. So Joshua is not a pay-per-view fighter.
I paid for his ticket to get here,
I was thinking that on the way out.
I'm just saying.
I was thinking
I'm just saying. We could talk about Parker too.
We've
and
done
that could ruin the whole
We've
card.
done that.
Tough fight. He is, huh?
I think I said before, I think it's... Mike didn't agree with me, Mike laughed. But I said...
Ordinary, you win 12 rounds with a journey.
Yeah, no,
Okay, all right, we'll see.
Yeah, but the thing is Parker styles make fights. Parker boxed Hughie Fury. Hughie Fury ran for 12 rounds. Kajanu came in at 4 days' notice, and Parker was so pissed off. When you got someone like Joshua, the dynamic changes in the mind. You don't come out and put in a lethargic performance. You come in zoned in. Because you know how dangerous it is.
No pressure, just throw the right hand.
Joshua said to me, this is going to be a very tough technical fight.
Right.
Because Parker's not an idiot, and he moves well, and he's got speed. And Joshua's not going to just come in and be crazy and just start swinging. He's going to try and break him down, and it's going to be technical. You're going to see things in Anthony Joshua you've never seen before in this fight to beat him.
I know you're also trying to make Daniel Jacobs into a star. You have to wait for Canelo and Golovkin to play out. But do you expect him to get one of those two in the fall?
Well, I'd like this fight we're already speaking to the WBA to try and make this for the mandatory for that fight, because Daniel Jacobs, in my opinion, beat Gennady Golovkin. And if you don't think he did, maybe but it was it could have been a round either way, but I had him winning by 1 or 2 rounds. But it doesn't, even if you don't think that, but if you didn't, then you probably thought Golovkin won it by 1 or 2, or very close. But in that case, if you had it for a point for Jacobs, you could have quite easily given it to Golovkin, and vice versa. But the fact is he's come back, he's beaten Arias, he's fighting Sulecki, so we feel like he deserves another shot. But the problem is, the politics won't allow that to happen, so we have to force that position. Now, if that doesn't happen, he's going to have to go in for another fight, probably Jamel Charlo, which is now getting some spice.
That's a great fight.
It's a great fight. But, we want to see Charlo become a world champion. Again, with Danny Jacobs, he wants to be a world champion again. He's made his money.
Well, for the first time.
Yeah, arguably.
Get the secondary time.
Yeah. So, but that's in his head as well. But I think that, of course, he wants to be a world champion. But he wants to, if the Charlo fight could be for the WBC, no problem at all. But one of the reasons we signed with HBO, and there were many reasons, but one of them was to get the Canelo GGG winner. So we want to put the pressure on and say, come on, we want the winner.
All right, boys, you got 2 minutes. We're going to lunch.
Yeah.
Make it quick. Thank you so much.
All right? Okay.